What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have a different type of video. I'm gonna be ranking the best synthetic leather uppers on the market, and this will only be synthetic leathers, even though for the example the Alpha 2 is a pretty good synthetic, but obviously that's on the thinner side. It's not as soft, it's not that pliable. The Adidas F50 also is a good synthetic, but again, it's not really leather like. So these uppers are more leather like, and I guess I'm gonna be ranking them based on how soft and pliable they are and how close they can mimic leather, although there's only really one boot that can really do that. And so in 5th place, I have the Nike Tiempo Legend 10. Now, the Fly Touch Plus upper is actually pretty soft and pliable. I actually don't mind it. Compared to the other synthetic uppers that I have on this list, it is in the bottom just because, I don't know, it feels okay. Like, it's soft, pliable, but it doesn't really give me that leather feel on the ball, touch wise. I just feel like it's not, it's, I don't know, it just doesn't really feel like leather, especially since it is a Tiempo. It just doesn't really feel like it. In terms of the upper being pretty soft and pliable, it's a really good upper in terms of that, but leather like sensation, it doesn't really feel like it. Now if we're talking about the Montebelluna version, now I think this is a better version in terms of a synthetic leather, just because you do get the stitching, and it just gives you a little bit of like a plush feel, like a little bit of cushion feels compared to this one, the regular version. So I think this one it just fits a little bit better. It just feels a little bit better on feet as well. But this boot would still rank in 5th place. Now the next boot slash upper that I have on my list is Adidas with their Hybrid Touch. Now Hybrid Touch, in my opinion, it's been around, and I feel like this is their best version, where it's pretty soft, pliable. And for me, the Messy does feel a little bit more leather-like compared to the one on the Adidas Predator, just because this one isn't super thin. This one's thinner than the Adidas F50 Messy. So this one just has a little bit more thickness, in my opinion. It just feels a little bit softer just because you don't have the rubber elements. But they still feel pretty soft. They're both nice and pliable, and they do a really nice job of molding to the shape of your foot, which I think is important. With the Tiempo Legend 10, I feel like that upper just doesn't really stretch, or it doesn't really adapt well to your foot. This one actually does stretch a little bit. I do have a wider foot, and for me, they've really molded to the shape of my foot, which is a plus. Now this upper I kind of prefer over the Tiempo Legend 10. It just feels more comfortable on feet. And overall, it's a really good synthetic. Like I said, the Predator does have a little bit of a thinner hybrid touch, and so there isn't really any padding to it. So I feel like that's why it's on the lower end of the list. Okay, so now in 3rd place, I do have the Sokito Scudetta. Now this upper is buttery soft. You guys can see, nice, soft, pliable. And this one feels a little bit more like a leather upper than the Hybrid Touch from Adidas. I just find this just a little bit more soft, more pliable. And yeah, they just feel really nice. Especially straight out of the box, they actually feel really good. And then once you break them in, they do kind of stretch and mold to the shape of your foot, just because I remember this being really tight when I first tried them on, and then as I just wore them in, they did kind of stretch a little bit. They kind of did a really good job of just adapting to the shape of my foot and stretch where it needed to stretch. So that's really nice, and that's a huge thing I think that leather does, that it really stretches and molds to the shape of your foot, and this does a really good job without really overstretching. The upper itself does have a little bit of a padded liner, so it is thin, but you do get that nice soft, a little bit of a padded feel, but still on the thin side. So I really appreciate that, and it's kind of crazy, I guess, that it sits in 3rd place, just because the other two on the list I feel like are just that slightly softer and just have more of a nicer touch on the ball. So in 2nd place, we have the New Balance Tekela V5. So this boot just came out a couple of weeks ago, but this upper is really, really good. It's soft, pliable. I guess it doesn't look super soft here in the camera, but trust me, it's very soft, very pliable. I put these on and they quickly started molding to the shape of my foot. They felt a little snug here in the midfoot, but I was just wearing them at home. They started already feeling even better, feeling softer. And I feel like this upper has the ability to kind of stretch and kind of just goes back to its own shape. And so it's very weird, just because you do get that little bit of stretch, but it kind of just I don't know, it just takes its shape back, and it's a really nice sensation just because it really like hugs your foot. And like this upper does feel like pretty cushioned, like on feet you get a nice like padded feel. And so I really like this, especially just because the way it just molds and like kind of takes the shape of your foot, but then it doesn't really lose its shape. So for me, this is probably the second best upper on the market, just how soft it is, how pliable, and its ability to like mold to the shape of your foot. All right, and so the best synthetic out on the market has to be from Asics, their Silky Wrap. Now here I have the Asics DS X Fly Pro 3. They do have the DS X Fly 6. Those just came out, which also has Silky Wrap here in like the forefoot. And this Silky Wrap like really feels like an actual leather upper, even though it is synthetic. It just moves, it feels like leather. Even the touch on the ball, it is pretty padded, nice and cushioned, and so it just feels like you have like an actual leather upper on your feet. And this to me is like the best like synthetic leather upper you can get. Soft, pliable, it has the ability to stretch, mold to the shape of your foot without like overstretching. It's nice and cushioned, padded, like everything you would want from a leather, but it's synthetic. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's basically, I don't know what else to say. It just feels super leather like. Alright guys, so that's it for the video of me ranking the top 5 like synthetic leather uppers on the market. I just really went based on how the upper feels in terms of how soft it is, how pliable, and how I guess leather like it feels. I didn't really talk about performance whatsoever. I just mainly focused on the uppers. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite synthetic leather upper, just based on how pliable and soft it is. Or if you can, just rank your top 3 or top 5. Like I said, I'm pretty curious to know like what people think is like the softest and most pliable upper on the market. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys are curious about these boots, I do have reviews on mostly all of them, I think, except the Tekela V5, just because I am working on it right now. I am like using it, so it will come out hopefully soon, but I'm not sure. But if you guys have any questions on these boots, just let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.